All right, thanks for joining us today. Really a terrific day for the Long Island Railroad and Metro-North and our customers. I'm proud to be here today with Metro-North President Kathy Rinaldi and Long Island Railroad President Phil Eng to celebrate completion of implementation of positive train control on both railroads. This is an amazing and important accomplishment, finished by the federal deadline under the most trying of circumstances, including a once-in-a-100-year pandemic. The credit goes to Kathy, Phil, and their incredible teams who've stepped up to overcome every obstacle during a global pandemic to achieve operability on more than 500 route miles across both railroads. I want to acknowledge board members Rhonda Herman, Neil Zuckerman, Randy Glucksman, Mike Fleischer, Andrew Albert, Kevin Law, Vinny Tessitore, Larry Schwartz, David Mack, Frank Borelli, Norman Brown, and Robert Lynn, as well as retired commissioners Susan Metzger and Mitch Pally for their hard work and support on PTC. I also want to thank Lisa Daglian and Jerry Brigman. As you know, Congress enacted the Rail Safety Improvement Act of 2008, which required most Federal Railroad Administration, FRA, regulated railroads, including commuter railroads, to implement PTC. We were able to obtain the second largest thrift loan from US DOT ever made to assist in completion of this project. I want to specifically thank Chair Nita Lowy, outgoing chair of the House Appropriations Committee, for her tremendous role in supporting the MTA throughout this entire process, and wish Mrs. Lowy well in her retirement. The completion of PTC marks the end of literally a decade of complex work, resulting in the implementation of software and equipment on the wayside, in the back office, and across the entire fleets of Metro-North and Long Island Railroad. Long Island Railroad and Metro-North saw huge improvements in implementation over the past 2 years, overcoming serious challenges and technical issues. This is on top of COVID-related delays since March, to the supply chain and staffing shortages during the worst parts of the crisis. In spite of all this, the dedicated Long Island Railroad and Metro-North teams, under the leadership of Kathy and Phil and direction from the MTA board, worked around the clock to meet the FRA mandate and hold vendors accountable to their budgets and schedules, helping us to get where we are today. Safety has always been the highest priority at the MTA, and full PTC functionality will take the safety of our system to the next level and ultimately save lives in the process. This technology can help stop accidents before they occur and keep our customers and employees safe. It's a major advance for transit, not only here in New York, but across the nation, and it will help make 2021 the safest year on the railroads yet. I want to reiterate my thanks to the entire dedicated MTA, Long Island Railroad, and Metro-North teams who brought this over the finish line. And now I'll turn it over to Kathy Rinaldi. Kathy.
Thank you so much, Pat. We are here today for a momentous occasion that caps years of effort to enhance commuter rail safety to meet the FRA national deadline for completing implementation of PTC by December 31st, 2020. I'm proud to stand here with Long Island Railroad President Phil Eng and members of our teams to mark the completion of this major accomplishment for Metro-North and the Long Island Railroad. On November 25th, Metro-North received conditional approval from the FRA for our PTC safety plan. Earlier this month, we successfully entered PTC operations on the New Haven line, thanks to the hard work of our team to bring updated PTC software to the M8 fleet, and for continuing to upload the software for the remainder of that fleet. And as Phil will tell you, the work to successfully achieve interoperability with Amtrak was a challenging one, but we did it and we're at the finish line. As the chairman noted, while this would have been a huge achievement for Metro-North and for MTA in normal times, it's an even bigger achievement because of the unprecedented and catastrophic impacts of COVID-19, which affected vendor facilities throughout the country, our supply chain on crucial items, and the very way that Metro-North employees performed the critical work that got us here to the finish line. I want to take a moment to thank key members of the dedicated Metro-North team for achieving these milestones. Anish Gandhi, who's the Executive Director of the PTC project, who's here with me today. Anish is over there in the corner. Dwight Soden, who headed up the M8 PTC upgrade project. John Kesich, Dave Malillo, Dave Kubicek, Susan Sarch, Anthony Gardner, Tony Chifo, Donovan Evans, John Diptulski, John Longobardi, Chris Taft. Just going to wait for the train. It's a long train. There we go. Rashad Ramsey, Joe Lagana, Jim Heimbecker, Craig Gustafson, Maurice Divers, Rahul Nair, Gerald Winters, Natasha Wilson, and Andrew George. The PTC project spans several years, so there are some recent retirees who were major contributors to this project. Thanks to Anthony Forsina, who formerly served as the Executive Director of PTC, who retired over the summer, as well as Glenn Hayden, our former VP of Engineering, and Rich Gantz, our former General Counsel. And I would also like to thank the Connecticut Department of Transportation and their Commissioner, Joseph Giletti, who used to be President of Metro North, for their partnership in achieving PTC compliance within the state of Connecticut. Finally, I would like to thank our partners at NJT, Siemens, Bombardier, especially Bon Provenzano, Alstom, Amtrak, and Kawasaki for all of their support. Our commitment to this project does not end on December 31st. PTC is a new way of operating for Metro North and for all railroads, and we will be focused on maintaining and upgrading this important safety enhancement system. And now I'd like to introduce Phil Lang, the president of the Long Island Railroad.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Kathy. I am proud to stand here, too, as well, with you and great teams at both railroads who have worked so hard to achieve our goal to implement positive train control and meet the mandated deadline at the end of this year. Over the last few months, we have achieved several significant milestones. On November 16th, FRA issued their acceptance of our safety plan. On December 5th, we activated PTC through Harold interlocking, bringing us to 100% of our 305 route miles into PTC operations. At the same time, we successfully demonstrated interoperability with Amtrak. Now both Long Island Railroad and Amtrak trains are operating in positive train control seamlessly throughout this shared territory. This was no small feat, as these last few miles to Harold are undoubtedly the busiest and most complex rail junction in the Northeast Corridor, if not the United States. And on Monday, December 17th, we commissioned the interface between Long Island Railroad and Amtrak Safety Service, and on December 21st, we collectively deployed the last piece of the puzzle, giving Amtrak and their tenant, New Jersey Transit, the time to activate key files on their train so that we, Long Island Railroad as the host railroad, could meet the mandate. As we all know, positive train control is designed to protect against human error. This adds to the innovative safety improvements we have made at all of our grade crossings, including the elimination of grade crossings along the main line, and the continuing efforts to modernize infrastructure and our signal system. Positive train control is one of the many accomplishments that Long Island Railroad has achieved to improve safety and reliability of the railroad for all. Safety will always be our top priority, and we cannot do this without the participation of the entire Long Island Railroad workforce. Thank you to all the men and women of Long Island Railroad for this transformational and monumental achievement. They have worked tirelessly to install, test, and commission the PTC system, all while overcoming the added challenges of working safely during COVID-19. To put it in perspective, over 3,000 personnel are now trained on the integrated software-based PTC system, consisting of equipment on 305 route miles, 1,055 train cars, 151 wayside interface units, 108 communication locations, and over 4,200 transponders across the system. Thank you to Chairman Foy for your unwavering leadership, the MTA Board, MTA Executive Management, and my management teams led by Bruce Ogrick and Rob Free. There are so many people to thank that have contributed to this important project. Some who are here with us today, including our program lead, Executive Director Debbie Chin, whose determination and expertise guided us to the finish line. Working side by side with her was her Deputy Executive Director, Andrew Arendt, also here with us today. I would also like to thank Steve Okarowski, Brian Kushner, Tom Murnane, Fred Bauer, Milos Jigala, Maher Patel from the project management team, our department heads from Transportation, Spiro Papanopoulos, Engineering, Glenn Greenberg, Maintenance of Equipment, Craig Daly, and Corporate Safety, Laurie Ebenhausen, all played a key role, and I'd like to specifically acknowledge some of their staff. Thank you to Beth Sullivan, Phil Latanzio, Rich Krause, Sean Giardino, Nick McQueen, Vinnie Capasano, Jeffrey Stevens, Ed Koch, Russ Auerbach, Dan Kuzo, Brian Moy, Mike Jukum, Steve Scotto, Arman Ali, John Stoltz, Brad Jenkins, Ken Leckham, Nick Spilletta, Benny Bonello, Sheila Murphy, Nick Harvey, Don Eckelson, Chris Gow, Art Faulkner, Sal Catapano, and Sue Watson. As you can see, every functional area of Long Island Railroad participated, as all of the installations were done by 100% by the Long Island Railroad workforce with the support of our labor partners. And our system integrator, the joint venture of Bombardier and Siemens, Daniele Ferreira, Ranjay Kaur, and Paula Leah, whose team members rose to the occasion and delivered for us. Our consultants at AECOM Sistra, led by Dave Maley, and last but not least, FRA Administrator Ron Vittori, his team, Amtrak, New York Atlantic Railway. So in a year where we face unprecedented challenges, we can end the year knowing that we have taken on extraordinary measures, making Long Island Railroad safer for all. I wish all the public that we serve, our workforce, our partners in labor, and everyone across the MTA family a safe and happy holiday season as we look forward to a brighter new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Before we take your questions, we're going to run a short video comment from Senator Gillibrand.
Today's announcement that Metro North and Long Island Railroads have completed the implementation of positive train control ahead of the year-end deadline is a major milestone in our work to create safer railroads. I'm proud to have worked in the Senate to require the installation and use of this critical life-saving technology that will ensure that train derailments like the one that occurred near Spuyten Duyvil just over 7 years ago never happen again. I applaud the MTA's hard work and thank them for their commitment to getting this done ahead of the deadline set by Congress.
All right, great. Thank you. With that, Kathy, Phil, and I are happy to take your questions. You want to speak to that?
Sure. And Kathy, maybe you want to join me too. So the question was the original deadline, 2015, why the extensions, right?
Right.
So this was not just an MTA Long Island Railroad Metro North extension. This was an industry-wide extension across all of the commuter freight railroads. This was something that FRA, understanding the industry challenges, this new technology that was not off the shelf, that was being developed and designed for every individual facility, and an acknowledgement that this technology, which is state-of-the-art today, was something that had to be developed and designed. So as far as any extensions, these are industry extensions. Long Island Railroad Metro North, certainly as part of the industry, warranted those needs. We have two of the most complex railroads in the country, and the fact that we delivered along with every other railroad across the country in the same timeline is a testament to our workforce, that we had challenges that even took the technology beyond the original concepts.
Yeah, I mean, I would concur with that. I mean, the other thing that I would say, because all of the railroads were working towards the same deadline at the same time, there were a limited pool of vendors who could support this project across the country. So that was another factor that drove the extension of the deadline past the original deadline.
Other questions?
Anybody else?
Okay. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Happy
everybody.
holidays.
Happy holidays.